Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you'd like, Super Dave. We are here to talk about number 135, Road Pig, in the classified line. I want to say good morning to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me today. Brandon, Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. So Road Pig is going to be an interesting one. Another addition to our lineup of Dreadnoks. Seems like we get a couple of Dreadnoks each year. Road Pig is the last of the Dreadnoks from probably, I would say, 2024, and then 2025 we get a couple of Dreadnoks, and we've already got a couple Dreadnoks name only revealed for 2026. So this is going to be a really fun video because he's a big chunky boy. And he comes with a pet companion that he never came with originally, Rawkus. So let's get into it real quick. We have Dan Klingsmith's series of books, Volume 2, Creating G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero by Dan Klingsmith Jr. So Road Pig came out in 88, I believe. And there was a bunch of fun stuff. That was during the years where I was a little bit, I would say, waning in my G.I. Joe collecting at that point. And so I was only being selective about the characters that I was getting, but 88 had some really good variations of existing characters and some really cool new characters, and Road Pig was one of those newer characters. So that's a beautiful piece of artwork there. Let's see who did that artwork. Bart Sears. Now, Bart Sears, if you're not familiar, Bart Sears did a lot of line artwork and design artwork for the G.I. Joe brand in the 80s. Before going on to doing comics, he did Cops, and he did Justice League Europe, and a bunch of other stuff, a lot of his own stuff like Omega and a whole bunch of other independent stuff. He also worked at Valiant as well. So let's see what Dan has to say about Road Pig. Alternate names, Calicac. I'm not sure what Calicac means. Theophilus 9. Theophilus 9. That's interesting. And Calicac. Year release, 1988. Designed by Mark Pennington. Mark Pennington, he took over the design work for the G.I. Joe brand in 87 after Ron Rudat for about 3 years, 87, 88, and 89. He did quite a lot of cool figures and designs during that time frame. So Road Pig, it says here, given the task of creating a character that could fit into the mold of the Dreadnoks, Mark came up with Road Pig, giving him the likeness of his senior design director, Don DeLuca. Mark gave Road Pig an assortment of weapons and gear to combat the Joes. And you can see a lot of the gear over there in those turnarounds there, up there in the corner. So he has a lot of cool gear. He has some football pads. He's got like a brick on a stick. He's got a lot of interesting stuff that came with him. He was definitely a step up for the Dreadnoks in that time frame. But we will see. And then his vintage package figure was in 88 as well, with find it with Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe by Carson Metaxas, Volume 4, 1988 through 1989, and 3D Joes. So that's where we're going to get the vintage package. Let's see if we can get it without that glare. Is that... trying to get a better look at that. There you go. Mm, better glare. I'll put it on shockwave. There, his vintage package. You can see all those accessories that he came with. And then his first appearance in the comics in the 80s was in G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero by Larry Hama, number 83. And he really makes a impression on everybody in that issue. The Dreadnoks, the Joes, the Cobras, everybody. Brandon 8269, hello. Thanks for joining us. So then, I'm trying to remember if Road Pig made an appearance in Operation Dragonfire and then the Deke series. I don't recall if he was in those animated series or not. If you guys remember in the chat if Road Pig was in Operation Dragonfire or the Deke animated series, let me know. I can't remember if Nagahide hung out with him, or if Nagahide hung out with the Iron Grenadier character. Missed the start writing review for Maisto 112 Harley Davidson motorcycle. Do not buy for your Dreadnoks. It's not the right scale. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That's been a sticking point for me right now, is trying to get something for these Dreadnoks to ride on. I wish Hasbro would release some sort of a motorcycle or something that they could re-release Dreadnoks on, so we can get some motorcycles. You know, it's one thing to get the Thunder Machine, but you've got like 10 or 12 Dreadnoks. They're all just going to walk around all day long. They need vehicles. They need Harley Davidsons. They need motorcycles. There are some motorcycles that have been released through the Marvel Legends, and I've heard that they're not that good. But it's a frustrating situation with the Dreadnoks right now. They had lots of vehicles in the vintage line. They had Zanzibar had his skiff. They had that 3-wheel trike. They had the swamp skier. They had the bigger swamp vehicle. Obviously, they had the Thunder Machine. There was a lot of vehicles in the 80s vintage line, but there's nothing right now for classified. So that is a big problem. They need to come up with some Dreadnought vehicles. Obviously, they are bikers. Yes. So I don't know. I think maybe Ramen Toys or one of those third-party people need to do some Harley Davidsons, because they would sell like crazy, because people would be buying them by the truckload, because we need that. We need motorcycles. We need Harley Davidsons. I think if they did them for classified and they re-released the original 3 Dreadnoks, Buzzer, Ripper, and Torch in their vintage style, do the motorcycles as vintage packages, and then give them additional like things you could put on the front of the motorcycle that could differentiate them, so they're different, so you can get 2 varieties with each motorcycle. So then you could buy those figures, multiples of those, and then you can use the extra motorcycles for the other Dreadnoks like Zartan, Zorana, Xandar, and so on and so forth. That's how I would do it if I was them. And then you can get some reuse out of that tooling, because then you can do it down the road if you wanted to re-release Zanya or Road Pig and a different deco or whatever. I don't know. It's some of the things are frustrating with this line, and some of the things are fantastic. They go way out when it comes to stuff like the Cobra Law and some of these new imaginations like the gyre technology and some of the monsters like that. But then they can't do simple things like a Harley Davidson. I don't know. It is very frustrating. Just just read Image Comics Dreadnought War 15 and 16 last night, featuring Road Pig. Awesome comic. Road Pig is my favorite Dreadnought. Yeah, he's a very unique Dreadnought. I find it interesting that in the comics, Larry gave him a disability. He has multiple personality disorder. And so a lot of times in comics, they were giving characters disabilities or tropes to make the drama of the character more difficult and make their lives more difficult. And I found that interesting that they gave Road Pig a disability. And I don't know if that disability was on his file card or not. Um, if you want, you can let me know in the chat if he had that on the file card. But I was a little fascinated the fact that they gave him a disability and it made the character stand out and made it very unique for a character in G.I. Joe and a Cobra in G.I. Joe, because there are several Cobras that have disabilities and people don't realize that, but Zartan has a disability. He has that skin pigmentation that he ended up getting some genetic alterations that gave him the sunlight effect. So he has a disability. Crimson Twins have a disability because they have that sense where they touch each other and they get pain, and that's something that only the Corsican people that have that psychic bond have a disability. So that was very interesting that they did these disabilities for these characters, and it seems like mostly Cobras that have the disabilities. It's interesting. I may end up doing a deep dive into that and doing a episode talking about that, because I don't think anybody's ever really covered a lot of that disabilities. And I think Metalhead was bipolar. He was a very bipolar character and stuff like that from the Iron Grenadiers, and he hung out with Naugahyde. And I don't know if he hung out with Road Pig or not. I can't remember in the Deke series if he had that relationship or not. But so that was his first comic appearance. I don't know if he was in any animation to my knowledge. But we have his vintage figure here. So I have all of his accessories with this one. And I fixed his O-ring the other day to make sure he was a little sturdier. I do that with my figures when I get them ready for these. I fix their O-rings. So here's that big sledgehammer brick on a stick thing that he had there. So we're going to put that in his hand there. And then he has a little backpack with arrows that you can put on his arm. And it's kind of like an armor. It's like an armor piece. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember how he had that on there, but he held that because he had his little launcher, his dart launcher there. We'll put that on him as well. So that's going to go on his hand here. And I guess I'll try to put this on this arm. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it wants to go on. Or maybe it goes on his other wrist. It seems a little weird. Maybe we'd have something like that on his wrist. But maybe it's like arm. It's like an arm armor type thing. So it's like a shield so he can... Oops, I lost his... I always lose this stuff. I don't know what where it went, but I lost his little harpoon thing. And there's Road Pig. Vintage figure. And he has that there. So that's like a guard he guards with, I guess, like that. All right, so I'll have to pick that up at the end of this because I can't see. It was black and now I can't see where it went. So I'm going to put him back in his package there. Put that over there. And so, let's see. A Ropig's 1988 file card does not say anything about a disability unless you count being so ugly that his mother had to tie a pork chop around his neck so the dog would play with him. That's funny. No, he was bipolar. He was multiple personality in the comics, um, Brandon. But that's funny. So then here we go, and there you go. The package artwork with Ropig, and you can see that Mad Maxian ultimate style mask that he has there, and his dog Rawkus that they added as a pet companion to this. Let's see. He was described on the file card as a reckless career criminal going back as far as kindergarten for extortion of milk money from his classmates. I do remember that. I remember the pork chop thing as well, but those are really funny. Larry had some funny stuff that he wrote on those file cards. So here's the QR code, the target artwork, and the designations. So we're going to go into the designations. He should have some really interesting designations for his skills. We'll see what they say. Let's see. That one has, I think, the mercenary one. There is the first one. Yep, mercenary. The second one is the mace with the spiked ball, and that's melee weapons. And then he has the weight strength with the weight, and then he has hand-to-hand combat. So those are your skills for Road Pig. And then we have his artwork, his shooting the galaxy photography artwork on the back, and a couple of call outs there with some tampos and masks and stuff like that. You can see his Rawkus, his pit bull there. Or no, that's a bulldog, not a pit bull, right? Then he has some interesting stuff. He's got his riot shield with the dreadnought pig symbol. He's got a little teddy bear back there. This is obviously the Dreadnought's gas station. Let's see. Stats: mercenary, 24 melee weapon, 34 skill strength, 44 mastery, hand-to-hand combat 4. Yep, that's cool. That's the problem with these QR codes. That's the type of stuff they should show. And they should show what all these tampos mean, and they should give his file card on that when you can go to that. I think it's a problem that it doesn't. But I like that you actually read the box stats too. Most collectors don't seem to. I decoded them all too. Oh, that's very cool, Brandon. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's just adds to the character because we don't have its file card. So we have to do something to try to talk about this character. I'm using my memory, and that's why I talk about the comics. I talk about their animation, and I try to give a little bit of history behind each character. And that's why I read Dan's book as well. Hey, Lone Dragon. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year again. So I have to add something to these because it wouldn't make sense to just show off a figure and talk about a modern figure. So that's why we talk about the old figure. We talk about the history. We talk about little inside things like that, his little quirks and stuff. And then I think the designations are important to talk about as well. So everybody's saying hello into the chat. Brandon, Lone Dragon, hello. So then we have the loadout, and look at this loadout. God, he's got tons and tons of stuff. And you can see all those Mad Maxian things that are in there. And that's why I've always been kind of, whenever we bring up the Thunder Machine, and I believe we're going to get it this year. I think this is the year we're getting it. We've had like 2.5 years. We've been rumored to get it, and we've never gotten it. But I think we're going to get it. And I want to get more Mad Maxian, more like hardcore with the Thunder Machine, a lot more metal, a lot more parts that you can interchange with it. And you can have multiple different Thunder Machines. If you buy that and you get 2 or 3 versions, and you can have different people driving it. And it would be like in Mad Max where they had all these crazy vehicles. Maybe they would even do something that you could turn it into a truck and make it Road Pig's truck. That would be something if they did it really way overboard with the Thunder Machine. That would be something incredible. But yeah, hello, Clement. Thanks for joining us again. I appreciate it. So yeah, this cycle works sick for Road Pig, McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Death Metal Bat Cycle. Yeah, there are things out there you can get, Brandon. There are motorcycles. Like they're going to be doing the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider version 1 motorcycle. Maybe people could buy a lot of those and change them and make them kit bash them and add things to them. And maybe you could get a lot of Dreadnought motorcycles that way. I may end up doing that. I may end up buying. I was going to buy that Ghost Rider with the motorcycle, but it's all red. So it definitely is going to need to be painted, and it's definitely going to have to add some cool elements to it and stuff. But I hope Ramen or one of those third-party companies, Gridiron, can get some kits for that motorcycle to change it and add some stickers and add some tampos to it, because I don't see Hasbro doing this. We've got that little thing for that swamp skier that they've leaked, that little clue, but how many of those are you going to be able to get? Just check the name on Amazon to post here. It's on sale in Canada for $22 today. Lucky me, just bought a second one for Naugahyde. See, there you go. So this is what it is. If you guys in the chat want some motorcycles, Brandon's sharing. It's the DC McFarlane Toys Multiverse Death Metal Bat Cycle. So there you go. See if you guys can find some of those. Get a couple of Bat Cycles, couple of Ghost Rider motorcycles. Maybe go back and get the Wolverine motorcycle from back in the a couple years back. And then you have 2 or 3 different types of motorcycles. Interchange some of the parts, paint them up, get some cool stuff on them, and then you have some motorcycles. But it's one of the big detractions right now from this faction, and what Hasbro classified teams been doing. They just got to do it, I don't know. It's frustrating, but we can go on and on about it. But there's the interior package with the Cobra logo, so we'll put that aside, get that out of the way. There. And we're going to first take Road Pig out of here. And man, is he a chunky one. Whew. He's going to take up a lot of space on my Dreadnought shelf. That is for sure. Look at this guy. You can see my hand, and it's like the size of my hand. He is huge. This is definitely bigger than the vintage one. Here's the vintage one, and they upscaled this guy quite a lot. I'll put him over here. Right out of the package, he's got all kinds of tattoos on him. He's got that Dreadnought pig tattoo right there. He's got the chain tattoo around his arm there and there. He's got the Anarchy tattoo that he had on the vintage one. I didn't show that, but there is a vintage tattoo on there. That's the Anarchy tattoo on there. And he's got the straps on the other arm. And then he has certified Mean Dog. I think that tattoo there says certified Mean Dog. I love classified Road Pig. Yeah, he's a phenomenal figure just out of the package. We'll see how he holds up with everything that he comes with. And then he has this big tattoo on his belly there. What does that say? It says Dreadnoughts. I guess that says Dreadnoughts there. And then he has his armor, his football armor, and there's all kinds of detail with that masked Mad Maxian type skull on there with spikes in there in his shoulder pads and everything, and then all the detail around the back, all the detail around the front. He's got the stars up there. You can see he's got a 3 o'clock shadow on him, so he has definitely got some paint apps on his face, and he looks really really serious there, and he's got that paint on his hair to give him that stripe. This is definitely one step up from the Dreadnoks, I've got to say. This is really something. He's got that pig knee pad there and that other armor knee pad. He's got the arrow, that piece there with the arrows, the extra arrows for his gauntlet there. He's got that cod piece there, that armored cod piece in the front. There's armor on the legs as well. This is a very well done design figure because it is chunky, it is big, it has a lot of color deco on it. It's got a lot of nice elements that are different than the vintage one. He's a heftier figure. You can tell by a little bit of the girth there. Wow. Oh, and there's that gauntlet with the arrow thing on that side there. So they added it to his arm as a secondary there, and he's got the secondary with the arrows there on his right leg. Let's get some of these parts out of here. First, we're going to get Rawkus. So this is a bulldog, a large bulldog, a pit bulldog there design. He's got a lot of articulation in the feet and the legs to maneuver him in different positions. His head moves a lot. His head turns there. You have the back legs also twist and turn, and the waist twists and turns. And he has that collar, that choker collar there. He looks really, really good. And there's a lot of face printing technology on that as well. Look at that. That is really nice. This is something they really went out of their way with this Row Pig, I must say. This classified Row Pig is right up there as one of the best figures, just out of the package. And we haven't even gotten into a lot of the accessories and stuff. I'm going to put him right there. All right. So then Row Pig comes with a yelling head, an additional head there. That's a yelling head. You can see that face print on there. It's really, really nice. And I forgot to mention, he's got that little jewelry earring there that you can kind of see on his ear there. And I think he's got it on the other one. Yeah, he's got it on the other one too. I'm probably going to use this head. I'm going to swap out the regular head. I'm going to use this head, I think, because I like this head better. There. I'm going to put this yelling head on there. And that's the cool thing about this line, is the modulability of this line. I took off the normal head. I put the yelling head on there to make him look like he's really screaming at the fans. So then Rawkus also gets a head. And the head that he's got on there is the growling face head. So that's the bad boy face. And then this is the good boy face there. So there's a difference between those faces. So I'm leaving the bad boy face on there. I'm leaving the good boy face off. So then this is the one I've been looking forward to. I guess it's another head with a mask. And it's like this Mad Maxian, pig-faced, barbarian type thing that is just otherworldly, with the red eyes and spikes coming out of it, and that cloth part on the back. This looks like what they used in the comics recently with the Skybound comics. I think he was wearing this in the comics. So they made him look like he does in the classified toy line, which I really like that about Skybound, that they've been incorporating these figures to look like their variations in the comics. And I think that's very good, that they kind of makes that content more viable for the toy line, and it connects the two of them, whereas we haven't seen that in a while with content. So I'm going to put that head over there, and then he has that cool stick brick weapon that is really cool that he had with his vintage one, and some deco, some silver deco, gray and brown, different colors on that. That's going to be something I'm going to probably put in his hand here, because I like that. I like that brick on the stick uh, as a weapon. And now you know why in his designations they say melee weapons. That's a melee weapon. Um, and then he has this other like big axe that's got this metal pig face on it with spikes and everything. Holy cow. Man, they went to town on this guy. Look at all this. This is so awesome. And there's a wash over the silver to make it look like it's a metallic sheen, but it's different shades with that. And the red deco with the handle and the spikes and stuff on the end of it. Wow, what a awesome weapon that is. Uh, and that image issue 15 by Williamson really and Belair's is a perfect depiction of classified Road Pig. The comic even names his deluxe sledgehammer. Road Pig says the deluxe hammer is named Mom. Wow, that is totally awesome. I love that. I may give him this other one. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what we'll do with that. And then he has this dog like mask similar to Mutt and Junkshire. He has that the Road Pig dog mask there. That's a new item as well. A lot of these weapons are new. They weren't with the vintage one. I just showed you the vintage one, and none of this stuff was with him. So I don't know. He's got like a bunch of options with this figure. And then we also have this pickaxe type thing that he can hang people up on and kill them. And I think he may have been using this in the comic as well. There was some stuff in like that building where the Joes were being captured, and this might have been part of that. That is something that is a next level on the mature toy. This is definitely not a toy for a child. I'll say that. Any child that's buying this toy is got some issues, because this thing is totally awesome. And then the reuse of the urban shield that Shockwave had, and I think both Shockwaves might have come with this. Several people come with this: the police officer, Shockwave, and now Road Pig. But Road Pigs is has a big tampo on there, that pig tampo. It says good work, and it has that warning, and it has some silver and stuff like that, that riot shield. So that's really good. They upped that riot shield that he had on the vintage one. See that smaller one there? They upped it way bigger for this. It is awesome. It is really awesome. That is all the accessories that he has. I'm trying to figure out what to give him, because he has all the vintage stuff on him right now. I may just stick with the vintage ones. He has his dart gun there. He's got his mom brick. I may just keep those. As much as I like a lot of this other stuff, it's hard to put all these things on him. Maybe I can use this other axe on him. Or maybe I can use the pick axe on him instead. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the pickaxe instead on him, since he's using that in the comics. Wow, this is incredible. I've got to say, this is definitely a step up for classified. I can see why he was deluxe, because there's a lot of really cool stuff that they included with this figure. So there. So I gave him the pickaxe, and he's got the dart gun there, and his mom brick there. So I think that's what I'll keep with him. But he has a lot of options. Definitely a lot of options. And then obviously we have Rawkus. So we'll put them together on my Dreadnought display. So the fact that you can do different things with him, I really, really I like that. I like the options and stuff like that. I wish that he had a one of those weapons crates that you could put with him, and that you could put all of his accessories in, because I don't like that I have all these accessories now and I have to put them someplace. So thankfully we have the older weapons crates, and I've been storing accessories with those. So I'll put them in one of those. But overall, he's phenomenal. I'm gonna get a display stand out for him, and we'll get him put on there. There. Let's see. There. Let's see. I hope I can get him on this display, because sometimes a lot of the feet, it's hard for them to stand in these stands. So I wish every one of them had a classified stand. I may end up doing that. I may end up getting stands from classified. I think there's some in there on the website for them. There. So Road Pig and Rawkus. Awesome. I've got to say, this is incredible figure. Let's see. For clarification, he uses both hammers in the comic. Won't say against what. It's the nice hammer with the big looking head and the silver paint that he named Mom, not the standard cinder block. Ah, okay. Yeah, I have the comics. My comics come a little bit later. I think I'm up to, I don't know, like 16, maybe 15 with it. I should be getting my new ones today. So they come about a month late. So I do my videos on all the comics after I get all my comics. So there'll be another video sometime in the next couple days for the comics. But I've been keeping up with it. I just haven't gotten the new issue yet. I have to wait for that to come in when my new comics come. So there you go. What else? So that was Road Pig. This is a really cool figure, I must say. I'm very happy that Classified was able to upgrade him the way that they did, because he's phenomenal. Very happy with it. So our next one is going to be our next figure is going to be a mail order figure that Classified has done. This is the first. I won't say it's the first, because we've gotten other mail order figures. We've gotten Cobra Commander Mickey Mouse. We've gotten Duke. We've got Major Blood. We've gotten Sergeant Slaughter. I don't know if we got the mail order Sergeant Slaughter, but we've gotten 3 Sergeant Slaughters. But this is a mail order figure that you could order when you bought G.I. Joe Stars cereal. So hopefully that gives you enough clues as to who this next character is. And it's going to be a really fun one. They've been doing some really good homages and some unique stuff with each of these figures over the last couple years. And this figure is one of the standouts coming up. And I hope you guys will enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this Road Pig video, because this is way more than I thought it was going to be. A lot cooler than I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of really cool color breaks with all the silver and brown and black, and the belt, like the spiked belt, and the stars, and the padding on the shoulder gear, the football shoulder gear with that, and the different things. The skull, they didn't need to add that skull to that shoulder, but they did. So they really went out of their way. They gave him 2 heads. They gave him 3 heads, and they gave Rawkus 2 heads. It's just incredible. This is a really standout figure. If I was doing my top figures for 2020, I would say 2024, I would have put him right up there. So the last couple of ones that we've done, like Alpine and him and the Iron Grenadier, have been fantastic. I would have had them up there at the top. It's a top 10 in the line, in my opinion. Definitely, definitely. They really went to town. And this showed when they did him, obviously, this was leading us to characters like Nemesis Enforcer, Pythona, the Royal Guard, and possibly Galabulus, that type of thing, where they're going a little bit creepier with the gyre technology, with Crystal Ball and the Gyre Viper, and when they're going into other areas with these characters, the Cobra Commander, Once a Man, and they're really, really pushing the limits, pushing the elements and the coolness factor of these figures. And we're going to be getting into some really cool stuff coming up. And this is obviously one of the first ones leading to all that coolness. So I'm very happy that they did him, and he's definitely going to be a cool addition to my Dreadnoks stand or display. My only gripe is that none of the heads articulate to look up enough to get him in a 3-point stance. Oh, yeah, that's right, because he does that stance a lot. And yeah, I guess it doesn't really do that. You can do it a little bit with this head here, but not as much as you're talking about, because he does that with that football type thing that he does in the comics a lot of times. Yeah, other than that, that's really perfect. There's hardly any notes on this. I would say this is a 9.5 or 9.75 or whatever. It's nearly perfect. It's definitely an upgrade from the vintage one, and it's definitely classified up. I don't know if we'll ever need another road pig, but you have a lot of options here if you want to do different ones and buy different road pigs. And he didn't stick around that much. I don't see a lot of road pigs at the stores and things like that. So that means people did like him, and he was a fan favorite. So all right, then. I think that's going to do it. Thank you, Brandon. You've been very, very cool in the chat today, helping me out. And everybody else that's joined me in the chat today, thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for watching after the fact in the replay crew. I really appreciate it. You guys are what makes this series what it is and helps this channel grow. We've hit our 200 mark anniversary, and we're going to be going up to 250 episodes very shortly. Brandon, look at the kneecaps. Good night, Irene. Holy cow. Yeah, I talked about those kneecaps earlier because there's that pig iron type kneecap there, and those like where you screwed in. I don't think it's screwed in, but it's just he added that to his boots, and he screwed it into his boots, and it's really awesome. Great review, Dave. Thank you very much. Thanks, Lone Dragon, as well. Yeah, these are really fun. It's enjoyable to talk about this stuff with you guys because it reminds me of when I was a child, when I would get some new figures and I would bring my friends over, or I would go over their house and we'd be talking about the new vehicles and the new stuff. And I don't have that nowadays. I don't have friends that can come over and hang out and talk about the new classified figures. So this is my schoolyard pick, my schoolyard group of friends. You guys are awesome, and I love this. It's just so much fun. That's why I want to get more of you on the stream with me. Lone Dragon, you're my next one I want to get on here. I like to get Hondo on here as well. It's just and Brandon, you're really cool. I would like to get Sean Jones, all of you guys. I would love to have you come on and talk about this stuff and pick some characters that you really would like to talk about, and maybe I could have you on those episodes. If I had known, Brandon, that you were such a road pig guy, I could have added you onto this video and we could have really talked this up and really did a deep dive into him. I did a deep dive, but it's one of those interesting situations. So all right. So I think that's going to do it for me. I got to get going. I have a convention to go to. Hopefully I'll get some new comics there and talk about my own convention. And that's coming up April 19th of 2026. the Send Flow Joe show. So if any of you guys are in the Florida area or the southern Georgia or southern Alabama area and you want to come to a G.I. Joe themed event, that's my first convention that I'm doing out of the gate. We did one last year that had to be postponed due to some tragic personal things, but this is when we moved it to April 19th of 2026. And we got Mark Pennington's going to be there. Adam Riches is going to be there. We're going to have a bunch of other guests. I can't name them all right now. We have to wait until all that's approved before we can put those names out there for the advertising and stuff like that. But I would love to meet all you guys if you can make it. If you can't, that's fine. Maybe I'll see you at Joe Fest. I'm also one of the managers of Joe Fest, and that's June 23rd through the 25th of June 2026 this year, and we are going to have a phenomenal year at Joe Fest this year. So many awesome guests, so much cool stuff to do. So between the two of those, hopefully I'll be able to see a lot of you guys, hang out with a lot of you guys, talk to you, and enjoy your company and stuff like that. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you again, everybody. And this is a big Dreadnoks video. So we're going to go with Dreadnoks Rule. Yeah. See you guys next time.